On a week dominated by the king of monsters, Godzilla, and also crossovers, you know the FanlightZone.com team has got your hookup. It is now time for the new comic book day kickoff for the week of February 4th, 2026. I am your host, Rich. I am also the executive producer over at FanlightZone.com. I am always excited to be here and talk about new comic book day. But before we dive into new comic book day, I would love to implore you to go over to the place that runs everything. That's right, fanlightzone.com. Make sure you go over there. Make sure you follow us on all the wonderful social medias, because when new comic book day hits, at 9 a.m., the website has all of our written reviews up for you. And starting at 9:30 a.m., every hour, there will be another video review put up on our social medias and, of course, YouTube Shorts. Speaking of YouTube, if you're watching this video, help us out. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Click the bell icon for notifications so you know whenever we go live or whenever a new video gets posted. And, of course, hit that thumbs up because, we want to beat the algorithm and continue to grow over here at Fanlight Zone. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the ground rules. Let's get them out of the way. New comic book day kickoff ground rules are simple. First and foremost, this is the official pull list of fanlightzone.com, which means that we are not putting these in any order. These are not the only books coming out, but obviously we're not going to cover every book that comes out this week. This list is just built off of the books that I have on my pull list and the rest of the Fanlight Zone team has on theirs as well. Mind you, they're not in any order. We actually do indies first, then we do the big two, and then I give you the pick of the week for each one of the reviewers here at Fanlight Zone. But that doesn't mean that if we forgot your book, the book isn't good. The book might be great. I just may have not read it. So that is your call to action. Go in the comments. Tell me about books that I may have missed. Tell me books that I should read. Tell me why they should be on my pull list, my personal pull list, not even Fanlight Zone, my personal pull list. And also, while you're at it, you can communicate with other members of the community who are looking for books to read. Because trust me, there's books that didn't make it. Dark Horizons, Dark Descent, #5 didn't make it. I love horror comics. It's a great book. It is on my personal pull list, but I couldn't put it on this because I had to make room, because obviously this video can only go so long. So just keep that in mind. Don't feel slighted. Don't feel like somebody is thinking your favorite creator is less than or whatnot, because that's just not true. So that's the first rule. Second rule, every book on this list is got to be coming out on February 4th of 2026. It's not counting any books that came out before. So i.e. Comixology Tuesday, which we celebrate here at fanlightzone.com and all of our social medias. If you're following us, you know this. We cannot put out the Comixology book. This week, it was Scott Snyder and his son's book, By a Thread, Book 2, Issue 4. That's not going to be on this list because it's not coming out on February 4th. Comixology drops their books on Tuesdays. So that's a rule. We also don't go over trade paperbacks. Not that we don't love trade paperbacks. If you read any of the reviews, we always plug, hey, if you haven't read the series, when the trade comes out, this is something for you. But we just don't, in the interest of time, we don't want to go over things that have already been out or been off the shelves. We're just going on what you can go to the local comic shop or online and get this week. So make sure you are, ahead of the game and, giving some suggestions. And last but certainly not least, it is please don't be toxic. When you're making comments, whether we forgot something or not, whether you have a book that you don't like that made the list, or whether there's a book that you like that didn't make the list, however you want to look at it, or if somebody else's opinions in the chat is not your opinions, just keep it classy, everybody. Let's keep it above board. This community, we want it to grow, we want it to be positive. The comic book community needs to come together. Let's have some fun. And this is a great way to have conversations in the chat. There's no reason to attack any of us here at Fanlight Zone, and there's no reason to attack anybody else that's watching the videos. Basically, it's going to turn people off. If you want to convince people to read books that you love, the best way to do it is to be kind and to plug them fully. So, with the ground rules out of the way, let's get the party started. Let's start off in the indies. And I said in the opening that there's a lot of Godzilla. And we're going to open up with 2 out of 3 Godzilla books. That should tell you where one of them places. And that first book we're going to open with is Godzilla #7 from IDW Publishing. Tim Seeley is the writer. Hendry Parasetya is your artist on this, and this is the brand new arc in the Kasai era of Godzilla. We remember in issue number 6, which I don't want to spoil too much, Godzilla was defeated by the G-Force USA team, more specifically Jason Braid, who has Kasai mutant powers. And now something really strange has happened. It's kind of like Godzilla and Jason are on different wavelengths. Think Incredible Hulk. That's all I'm going to say. This issue reveals some of that, and it reveals what is going on now in the brand new arc. There's a brand new character, a young girl named May, who we don't learn exactly what her powers are, but we kind of know that she's going to have some of those Kasai powers as well. So we got to go, hold on. This is a good first book. This is a good jumping on point. If you didn't read the first arc, I know there will be a volume 1 trade paperback that you can catch up on, but this kind of catches you up to speed and brings you in. It's a good jumping on part. IDW has been doing a great job with the Kasai era, specifically the Godzilla line, the actual Godzilla line, because everything else is part of it. But I will say that this is definitely worthwhile. Go check it out. Once again, like everything we list here today, there will be a review of this. I did a written review for this that will be up on fanlightzone.com at 9 a.m. on New Comic Book Day. Let's stay with Godzilla and IDW Publishing, because I also said in the open there's crossover events. Well, first one up is TMNT X Godzilla number 3. IDW Publishing, once again, written by Tim Seeley. Look at that. He's writing the Godzilla line and TMNT X Godzilla. And the art is by Pay. And we have gotten some pretty interesting stuff here. The Ninja Turtles are now in Japan, and they are trying to use the ancient foot method of, how they used with Ghidorah in the last issue to kind of calm down the king of monsters. Well, I don't know if that's going over too well. You're going to have to find out if it goes over well at all. But at the same time, April O'Neil is out there, and she is being beckoned to an island, and we find out why. And trust me, folks, you're going to love the appearance that you find out there. Plus, on top of that, we really dive into why Shredder and Krang have trying to steal a doctor's stuff, and that doctor ends up being somebody a lot more famous than what we think. Once again, great crossover event. Tim Seeley's doing an amazing job. Pay is a great artist. You're going to have a lot of fun with this one. This is not continuity-wise, like you're not in the Turtles, but you have the best of Turtles. You have Kaiju. You have a great crossover. Definitely something you should be looking forward to when you hit the shops this New Comic Book Day. Next up, staying with the Turtles, it is the big event they've got going on, and that, of course, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus number 4. This one was scripted by Caleb Gallner with art by Omar Francia, IDW Publishing. And if you have not been paying attention to the bi-weekly event that's going on with Battle Nexus, this is battling. Basically, think of Street Fighter, think of Mortal Kombat with the Ninja Turtles. Romero Savanti, the Time Bandit villain, is putting them into all sorts of weird positions, and including this, as you see, I left the cover up on purpose. This one, we have Donatello versus his greatest creation, Metalhead, and there is an interesting part of this battle, and we find out even more of what is going on behind the scenes with Romero Savanti and what's going on there. So this is definitely a crutch issue. It's been a great series. If you have not been reading Battle Nexus, I very highly suggest it. Go out, grab a copy at New Comic Book Day, because you're going to really love this one. And like I said, cannot put it over enough. Next up, let's move over to our good friends at the Massiveverse. They have a new one out. Infernal Girl Red, Book 2, number 3. Matt Groom is your writer. Erica D'Urso is your artist. Massiveverse Image Comics on the publishing. And Infernal Girl Red has been heating up. Of course, the IGR team is now kind of splintering off. There's some controversy. There's some things going down. Can they hold it together? Can they come back together, as a threat is now emerging? And it looks like everything is being orchestrated from the outside. Tremendous art here. The writing by Matt Groom is always great. The Massiveverse, if you are not checking it out, you should be. They have some amazing stuff, not only just amazing creators, but the books are amazing and everything along with it. So check out Infernal Girl Red. It is a little different for some of the people out there, but it is definitely worthwhile. We have a brand new number 1 in a new series to talk about next, coming to you from Dark Horse Comics, Night City number 1, written by Matt Kindt. art by David Lapalme. Uh, this book is basically, it's described as Fight Club meets Superman. I can't make this up. Basically, we have a city that has got a superhero, and this superhero, when he's fighting crime, he's great. He's the Superman of this world, but he's just like the rest of us. When he's off the clock, it's hard to stay focused, and he probably is doing a little bit too much procrastination and maybe even a little bit too much daydreaming. So, with that being said, it leads to some interesting things. I think this is a really great concept. I really, really love what they're doing with this. This is going to be a great one to read. It is a number one, so number ones are always a great time to jump on. Right as of right now, I do believe this is a mini series / limited series, but it could go to ongoing if the sales are enough. I always like to tell people that. So if you really like this, jump on, give it the support, just because you're going to want to see this thing exceed and excel. Next up and last in the indies is another crossover event, and I purposely did these two back because there's some ones on the big ones as well. But the last independent crossover event that we're going to talk about for the independence portion of this show is Archie X, the Army of Darkness #1. Eric Burnham on the writing, Bill Galvan on the art. Dynamite Entertainment is your publisher, and oh boy, it's another Archie mix-up. But this crossover is stupendous, if you will. The Riverdale crew is, Reggie of the Riverdale crew in particular, has been inherited a lake house. So they're throwing a party at the lake house. What could go wrong there? Well, when you find the Necronomicon in the basement and Archie, being Archie, reads from it, oh boy, is the Archie crew ready for Deadites? But even better than that, we get a peek in as our hero. There is a brand new S-Mart in Riverdale, and Archie is working there, and his training manager is none other than Ash Williams. So we're bringing the worlds of Evil Dead / Army of Darkness together with Archie. This is really cool. I love the art. The art is very comic strip art, so Archie versions of art, as most of us are familiar with. And that lends itself because there is some horror scenes in there. Not a ton, but the first issue does have some horror scenes, which lends it to going, oh, wow, this is really cool. Imagining gore and horror in the world of Archie. If you're into any of that, it's great. It is not, I wouldn't say that it is reader, discretion advised here, because it's not too violent. It's not too over the top, because it is comic strip art, but still, there is some violence in this, and it only lends itself to more. This is going to be a great crossover series. If you love or even just like either of the franchises, you're going to love this. Even if you don't, this is a great book. It was super entertaining. I could not put this down. This was almost my pick of the week. It came like that close, and that's all I'm saying. Get to the comic shops this week. Go online, order your copy of Archie X, the Army of Darkness #1. You will not want to miss this series. Even think about putting it on your pull list. Now we're done in the indies. Let's go over to the big two, and we're going to start with Marvel Comics, because there is yet another crossover event, and that is Planet of the Apes versus Fantastic Four #1. Your writer is Josh Chirillo. The art is done by Andrea Di Vito. Marvel Comics, of course, as I already mentioned, in accompaniment to 20th Century Fox, if you will, because that's who owns the Planet of the Apes. So we have to give them a shout out as well. And this is what you think it is. The Fantastic Four find themselves on the Planet of the Apes. The classic Planet of the Apes, by the way, not the newer versions. And so they are up on the tribunal because in that world, it's illegal to be a human being because you're an animal, especially one that can talk. So they are on trial. But here's the kicker. The Fantastic Four, as they traveled there through the machine, lost their powers. And so now they're powerless. They're stuck on a Planet of the Apes, and they're trying to get back home. But that's going to be a challenge, because always lurking in the background of anything with the Fantastic Four is the one Dr. Doom. So how is he going to play in? How are the apes going to handle the Fantastic Four? And where do the Fantastic Four's powers go? You're going to find all of that out and more in this first issue. Very cool art. Very awesome story. This is going to be one to watch for. I do have a video review of this dropping tomorrow on the social media, so you're going to want to check that one out as soon as you can. And of course, pick it up at the shops. I think you will be very impressed. Staying with Marvel Comics, there is a new #1, and it is part of the Shadows of Tomorrow expansion for the X-Men. And that, of course, is Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant #1. It is written by Murara Iowalde and Frederica Mancine is on the art. Listen, Storm is one of the most badass Omega level mutants on the planet, and she's proving it here once again. Shadows of Tomorrow has really kicked off, and just like in the vein of most of the Shadows of Tomorrow books, basically there's a lot of badassery and violence in this. And we're going through a story where Storm, in trying to stick to her morals, may have made a mistake, and it might cost Earth in a big bad way. You will be really shocked with the violence and stuff in this book. It really takes you there. But once again, Shadows of Tomorrow has really been doing this. They've been hitting a home run with the single X-Men titles as well as the X-Men overall titles going into this, post-Revelation world. So you're going to want to buckle in. This is one of the better books. I really enjoyed it. I listen, you know me, I'm an independent guy if you watch this show, but I do love me some X-Men, and lately I've been eating good on the X-Men, so hopefully you are as well. Let's jump over now and go over to DC, but not exactly, because we're going to talk about our very first Vertigo book. That's right, DC Vertigo is back, and the first official book on that is The Nice House by the Sea, number 7, written by James Tynion IV, with art by Alvaro Martinez Bueno. And if you have not been reading The Nice House by the Sea, it is a tremendous book. It is post-apocalyptic. It deals with artists. It deals with morals. It deals with a lot of things that, most people don't think about in post-apocalyptic worlds. We always think about just the violence and what's going on. But this has some of that, but a lot more. People are disappearing. It's crazy. You are going to want to check this out. And let's be honest, you're going to want to make sure you're locked in for DC Vertigo. The relaunch of Vertigo is going to be very good. There is 4 books launching, one for each week of February. So we will be talking about them, I promise you, each and every week. You're going to have to get your hands on them. But this one's the first out of the gate, and for good reason. It is an established book. However, not just established, very, very good, and fits the Vertigo line perfectly. So you're going to want to go check this out. Ken M himself, the editor-in-chief, said Vertigo starts off its return with this chapter. That was his little punchline for it. Trust me, you're going to want to be a part of this. Next up, let's go to DC proper in the first of the picks, because the EIC does all of our reviews for DC. So make sure you're checking them out over on fanlightzone.com on New Comic Book Day. And first up is going to be Batman number 6, written by Matt Fraction. The art done by Jorge Jimenez, and with that team, there is no way this can't be good. As a matter of fact, this is the little quote that I got from the editor-in-chief. Considering what happened last issue, Batman has to do some damage control as the city slips away. Yes, Batman is in some trouble here. The villain of the day is now trying to take over the whole city, and it's not a spoiler. He may have gotten the best of Batman. But as we know, the Caped Crusader works best when his back is against the wall. So we're going to see where this goes. Great series. If you're a Batman fan like me, you should be reading Batman. I mean, I read, I think, too many Batman comics probably, but I do them all for enjoyment, and hopefully you are too. But this is one of the great stories out there. Matt Fraction. Need I say more? Need to say more? Next up for DC is going to be DC KO Boss Battle number 1, written by Jeremy Adams and art done by Carmine D. Giandimencio, Ronan Collette, Kieran McCowan, and Pablo M. Collier. Of course, this is the big one. This is the bad boy, as Ken M says. The absolute crossover that was teased at New York Comic Con 25 is now arriving. We are in the finals. We are getting to the end of the story. Who is going to be able to take the Omega Crown to take on Darkseid and re-establish the DC universe? We're down to the finals, and the final few left. We're going to find out how this shapes up. If you haven't been reading DC KO, it's been tremendous, and everything along with it. Trust me, there's a lot out there to read. But if you have not been keeping up, please take the time, go out of your way, and check out DC KO. Now, we've gotten through the big 2. We've gotten through the indies. The only thing left is now the Fanlight team's picks of the week. And remember, like I said before, this isn't saying they're the best book. As a matter of fact, I think I rated my book this week lower than a book that we mentioned earlier, Archie X, The Army of Darkness. It's just this one kind of got me a little more. So, like I said, I'm just throwing it out there. But let's start off with our video reviewer, Joey from the So Wizard podcast. And Joey's pick of the week, to no surprise to anybody, because if you know him, he loves his Titan comics and he also likes his Conan. So this week's pick is the Savage Sword of Conan number 12. Chris Ryall as your writer, Gabriel Rodriguez as your artist. Listen, Conan is a badass, and I think that's why Joey loves him some Conan. And this is no different, as you can see from that amazing cover. Badassery beware. He's the Conan line over at Titan has been super, super good. If you're not checking it out, you should. If you're looking for something different, I mean, I should say different in the way of, like, you know, that violence and stuff, not really superhero related. It's a great one for you. So take Joey's picks. Like I said, he's behind it. Check out his video tomorrow, which will be dropping on the 30s, to find out what his exact thoughts were on the Savage Sword of Conan. Next up is the young Padawan himself, Padawan J from the ODPH podcast, better known for the fans of Fanlight as Josh. And Josh's pick is, if you know him, not a surprise. It is Ultimate Endgame number 2, written by Dennis Camp with art by Jonas Scharf, Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson, and Edgar Delgado, Marvel Comics. And we are in, and I can't stress this enough, I say this all the time when the Ultimates come up, we are in the end game, pun intended, of the Ultimate Universe. April is right around the corner. We're going to find out then. We've been promised some big things. We've even had some leaks, or well, not even leaks. They've announced the next real big moment after. So will it come to an end fully? Will there be some pieces left? What will this mean for Marvel as a whole and the Ultimates universe as a whole? Find out. Dennis Camp is doing some amazing stuff in the Ultimates universe. You're going to want to make sure you're checking that out, and you're definitely going to want to tune in for Ultimate Endgame as we are heading towards the end game. No better way to say it. Next up is the editor-in-chief, Ken M, and he picked this week for his pick, DCKO Night Fight number 4, written by Joshua Williamson, art by Dan Mora, DC Comics. And by the way, when you see Joshua Williamson and Dan Mora on a book, enough said. I don't even have to tell you anything about this. However, I will give you Ken's quote from this. Batman's fight after losing in the DCKO tournament takes another wild turn in its conclusion. Of course, this is the conclusion to the Night Fight story, which has been very, very good. Once again, great team, great art, great writing. I can't speak to this any better. You need to just see it yourself. Night Fight is right up there with the best in the Batman world. Like I said, I read a lot of Batman. I do not want to give it anything away. I did not read this issue yet, because I like you, it'll be in my pull list for New Comic Book Day, but I have been told that it is tremendous, and I will be very happy with the finale. And with that, that brings me to my pick of the week. And my pick of the week, and just by the skin of its teeth, but they are massive teeth, because I promised Godzilla, I promised crossovers, we're going to end with it as well, as it is Godzilla Infinity Roar number 1, Jerry Dugan on the writing, Ig Guara and Javier Garron on the art. All right, Marvel Comics, Toho Studios. So Marvel Comics has got a great one on their hands, and this is one of those weird crossovers where it feels natural. It is a Marvel story where Null has kind of gotten in the head of Godzilla, and now is using Godzilla as his basically pet to go out and destroy things. So boom, booyakasha, we are going to have to get big bad things out there. And trust me, you are going to want to see this one and see it through. The first issue is great. A lot of entertainment, a lot of heroes, a lot of different cameos that we get to see. And let's just be honest, Godzilla is out on a rampage. He is trying to take out everywhere he can, whether that's Wakanda, whether that's the Wakandans' own planet. You bet you didn't think about that one. Or the Asgardians. He is on a mission from Null. And we're going to find out more. But the first one teases a little bit, leaves some things to the mystery, but no matter what, badassery and some great, great hero cameos. I'm along for the ride for this. So Godzilla Infinity Roar number 1 is my pick for the week. Now, it's your turn. Hit up the comments. Tell us what you are picking up at the shops. Tell us if you agree with us. Tell us what we need to be picking up that we might have missed, because we want to hear from you. Remember, keep it classy, keep it above board, because we want to build a positive community here. Also, while you're at it, I need you to go on over to fanlightzone.com. Tomorrow, you can do it today and check out the reviews we already have up. from past weeks. But if you want to see all the new comic book day reviews, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Fanlight Zone, all of them launch. Make sure you're there. And also make sure you're following us on all the social media platforms, because our new comic book day reviews that are videos will be going up on them at the starting at 9:30, so once an hour, so 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30 until they're done. And then last but not least, you're already watching this video on the YouTube channel, so make sure you smash that subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, and hit that thumbs up to help us conquer the algorithm, and of course continue to bring you great stuff here on the Fanlight Zone YouTube channel. And of course those video reviews will also be YouTube shorts, so check those out as well. Well, we are to the end of New Comic Book Day's kickoff for February 4th, 2026. Once again, I am your host and the executive producer over here at fanlightzone.com. Rich, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being part of it. Once again, I want you, that is your homework, not, subscribing and all that. That's your first homework. The second one, hit those comments. Pretty soon we're going to be doing some giveaways on this show. We have some things lined up, so you're going to want to make sure you're tuned in for all of that. So make sure you're following Fanlight Zone, and thank you so much for supporting us. With that being said, though, enjoy New Comic Book Day, and make sure you grab that pull list and enjoy those comics. So for myself and the Fanlight Zone team, thank you so much, and see you in the shop.